Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Omega, and Greater Germanic Reich. So, in the last episode we managed to reclaim Madagascar for the Einheitspact, and we have also invested our first points of influence into strategic fort building. Now, we have also managed to boost the economy significantly, and now we're opening up the market while significantly reducing the debt to GDP, having a decent yearly surplus, inflation is under control. Yeah, things are looking good as far as economy goes, so I'm really hoping that it's gonna stay that way in the future. So, what can we do here? Well, we're improving the naval department now, which is going to hopefully give us a third agent. I have one still in Japan. It's trying to increase its power here. 22 to 49. When are we going to learn a bit more about you? Not soon enough, I guess. Well, we might take one of our agents and send them to maybe Israel, see what these guys are up to, considering they would be considered, I guess, the mortal enemy of the Reich. I think that would be a good thing to do. Keep an eye on them, you know. An unexpected opportunity. Officer Krakoa put down the phone, his mind racing from what he'd just been told. An independent referendum in Jamaica, the powerhouse of the West Indies Federation, at risk of leaving. The world was abuzz about the possibilities and implications, and now so was the Reich. German intelligence wanted an immediate assessment. As he began going through to find old and recent documents on Jamaica and the wider West Indies Federation, he considered the facts. Jamaica didn't so much as sneeze without American permission, and Manuel was a reliable American stooge. America had expressed support for the referendum, which meant that they either felt confident enough to give the people a symbolic vote, or they were under pressure to do this. With a stack of files, Krakoa sat down and started reading. Alexander Bustamante was the most prominent opposition to Manuel, and an outspoken anti-colonialist and nationalist. Ages for distraction, though, direct assisting someone of such impure blood was out of the question. An Anglo minority on the island, still loyal to the king, would be a perfectly serviceable proxy instead. Further research and a delivered newspaper revealed the cause for the unrest: a rewritten federational constitution, one which purportedly was unfavorable to Jamaica. He smiled as he read that. Perfect, that could be the focus here. No one liked to be exploited, and the people saw through their American puppet. Okay, it was admittedly a long shot, and Krakoa was under no illusion this would be an easy task. Yet, if they succeeded, not only would they embarrass the Americans in their backyard, it would also mean the beginning of the end for the West Indies Federation. He quickly wrote down a list of agents to use and contacts in the country. It was time to get to work. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, West Indies Federation. Interesting, so all of the islands are united here. That's kind of interesting. Here's Puerto Rico and Jamaica. Trinidad and Tobago. That's Suriname. Jamaica is the largest, should be the largest island here from the France. Wait, here it is. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. Man, freshen up on my geography. So Jamaica is part of the Federation. All of these are united with the exception of Puerto Rico, which is independent and is okay, and you are a subject. Yeah, can't state of a foreign power. So let's see what we can do here. Anything in here? Nope. Okay, let's Let's get rid of these and see what we have here as information. In aiming to pass a stronger constitution, the Americans have overplayed their hand in the West Indies Federation, and now it may cost them dearly. A successful independence referendum for Jamaica is an opportunity to embarrass the United States in their own backyard. Currently, US backing is minimal and foreign interference is non-existent. So we're trying to pull this from the Federation membership to Jamaican independence. 42.8 chance of passing. For the odds of the vote reaching a majority above 50%. So we can plant the seat of independence. So Jamaican independence grows slightly more popular. The Abwehr will produce and surreptitiously distribute propaganda across Jamaica, exposing the weakness of the Americans and reinforcing that independence is the only logical path forward for the island. Make the Commonwealth connection. Jamaica is a home to a small but powerful group of white Anglos, many of whom still pledge loyalty to the king. We will reach out to our contacts in England so that a connection can be made to these elites. Our interference becomes more obvious. Enables decision to exploit Jamaican opportunity. Cover our tracks. The Americans' commitment to democracy means their intervention in the referendum is limited, unless we provide them justification to step in. Covering our tracks may be a prudent choice, if only to make the Americans' defeat in the referendum even more embarrassing. Mobilize the white minority. Momentum for Jamaican independence increases slightly. Our interference becomes slightly more obvious. Okay, so this can be done only when we are measured or... Encourage capital fight. Spear's legitimacy will increase by 5. Okay. Okay, so we need to make the Commonwealth contacts and we need to plant the seeds of independence. And once these are done, we will encourage capital fights because that's going to increase our legitimacy and cover our tracks. Our interference is minimal. Okay, it's pretty good. Something to do. Yeah, I really like these conflicts. That's amazing mechanic. It really made it work well. Okay, let's speed it up because we are slowing down significantly. 20 days to finish this. Research. Okay, Signal Company will be done in 3 days. And the Lobster War ends. Breaking news emerged from the standoff between the German, Central African and Brazilian naval fleets positioned off the Atlantic. The contentious occupation of lobster fishing waters claimed by Brazil rapidly escalated into a standoff across the ocean. With some reportedly rather clever seamanship from the Brazilian patrol, the merchant ships as well as their armed German escorts were summarily beaten back through a series of evasive and aggressive maneuvers, ending in the ramming and subsequent boarding of several Reich-affiliated vessels. International observers wait for Germania's comments on the matter, and many wonder if they will even acknowledge the first grievous defeat they have faced in almost a decade. One thing, however, is for certain: the Brazilian armed forces are now breaking in the light of a decisive blow against the invasive colony that had scoured their waters. Okay, I expected there would be something in regards to that, but I guess we can't really do anything. Wait, what the hell? Oh, the US did something. US did something. And that means they... Okay. Signal Company 3 has been finished. So what's next? Kind of like the Transport Helicopter Company. What does it do? And Heavy Supply Company. Oh, supply usage minus 40%. Oh, that's amazing. Let's get that. That is really good. Okay, so we are doing our best. And we're gonna bring some of the regiments to our side once we get the capital fights done. Even if Jamaica is to become independent, who is to say that the Americans won't meddle in its affairs again. Germany is always in need of entrepreneurial minds. We will welcome any white Jamaican immigrants with open arms as an economic and political victory. Oh, actually, that is against what we want. Okay then. Well, increasing the infrastructure here, which is good. There's a military base. Amateur study tactics. What does this one do? Training policy. Okay. Putting an army base in poorer, more populated states such as Saxon will improve our manpower, organization, and mobilization speed. So let's build a couple of these in areas where we want to, and then further increase some of these areas. And we could build some land forts, huh? In the territories where we are getting them already. Interesting. And they're super cheap too. Okay. The Cautinazo. In the south of Chile, Cautin burns. With Congress gridlocked on the issue of agrarian land reform, a wave of vigilantism has begun in Chile's southern provinces as local peasant syndicates attempt to take matters into their own hands. The result is a domino effect of exploding tensions as extremist groups, armed syndicates, and local landowners enter open battle, leaving local authorities helpless as the region turns into a frenzy of violence. Beaten by the many tragedies and crises in recent years, the country seems to be haste approaching an abyss. As the aftershock rips through Chile, one thing is certain: any hopes that the Alessandri administration had of recovering national stability have been snuffed out for good. Actually, I want to see one thing. We can't get another thing here. But I think that if you look at this, Koln-Aachen now has forts. So we could kinda figure out where the border is gonna be and hold it, right? Okay, so we could build it here. Oh, we can't. Wait, can build forts. Okay. I was a bit land forts still doable. Yeah, we're doing it good. And we're probably gonna have this state as well. So can I do it this way? Come on. Okay, where else do we have the forts? Okay, wait, this is Göttingen. So, like this. And then the question is if our territory is gonna be going north. Because this seems like it might actually go north. Yeah, this is not gonna be probably our territory, so let's just remove this. Okay, so we're building. It's a secret Spears secret Spears project. So I mean, why not? We can do it, can't we? Okay. I mean, it's part of our right as the ruler of the territory. And about here, okay, we're still going. CHP victory in Turkey. The Republican People's Party has ruled Turkey for over 40 years. In the years following World War II, the party was described as increasingly authoritarian as its grab on power hardened. Dissenting members were expelled and Turkey's opposition suppressed in the name of national stability. Defeat in the war forced President Inoni to declare free elections, which the CHP has now won. So they're still following Kemalism. 40 years of ruling as sole representative of the Turkish peoples defined the party's program, but also believe in reform. Younger members in the party hierarchy pledged to rectify the mistakes of the past for decades, but those that conform to the party line are doubtful. Inedi is expected to deliver his inaugural address to a sizable opposition for the first time, many of which convinced the CHP's victory did not come through anything like democracy at work. Will the CHP's victory bring more of the same to a country in need of change, or herald an age of reform? Who is to say? Oh, the independence referendum has a 28%, 27.5%. That's great. This is really weird. Well, I guess we have went overboard. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can instead just encourage the capital flight. Oh, it's capital flight, not capital fight. The capital flight and gain legitimacy out of that instead of, you know, trying to make this happen. But we'll see. We'll see what's gonna come out of that. 104.1. Nice. Okay, 3 days. Getting a lot of Navy experience. Are we still building? Yeah, we're building more Zerstörers. It's actually fine. Okay, this is looking good. 9 days to finish the agency upgrade. 46 days. Okay, 1 day. Mobilize the white minority. Well, I mean, it still looks like it might happen. We might just get lucky. Probably gonna be a roll there. Find the scenes of independence. Okay, I could just go this, and cover our tracks. Because I mean, this helps with our legitimacy as well, right? Yeah, 85%. So now we can bring here regiments to our side. So we're gonna get 2 bonus regiments. The fall of Chief Executive Suzuki. The fallout of the Yasuda concern's collapse spread beyond the Japanese metropole as Guangdong's chief executive Suzuki Teichi has resigned following a vote of no confidence in the Legislative Council. Suzuki, intimately connected with the disgraced Ino administration, is believed to have been dependent upon Yasuda support in maintaining power, particularly enacting the controversial Revised Labor Standards Ordinance. Carrying with the support among Guangdong's traditional corporate powers, Suzuki has been replaced with the caretaker Chief Executive Matsuzawa Takuji, former regional head of Yasuda Bank. As the political turmoil in Tokyo continues, it is believed that Matsuzawa's permanent successor will hail from one of Guangdong's 3 remaining major companies. Can the corporate state survive? So this is Guangdong's Chief Executive. State of Guangdong, here it is. Okay, so this is a corporate... Oh yeah, for such a small territory, they got a ton of factories. Good on them. So how's the Japan co-prosperity sphere looking? Pretty big one as well. Also all these islands, Jesus. That is nearly nightmarish. Okay, cover our tracks. This is looking... Well, I mean, we're keeping it real still. Okay, so we finished an agency upgrade and we are not getting another agent. So I might have miscalculated, but... Let's continue track. Ah, debt to GDP 103.8. Nice. Still over 241 billion in debt, but it's dropping, you know, significantly. At least relatively speaking. That is, in the end, what we are about. Goering is making moves. Johannes Verwaayen remains Finnish Prime Minister. Finding itself in the throes of war 3 times in 15 years, Finnish democracy has struggled to keep itself intact. Leading the Agrarian Union, the present ruling party in Finland's parliament, Johannes Verwaayen continues to cement his control over the Eduskunta-riksdagen, or the Finnish parliament, and enact his policies unabated by the meddling of opposing forces. So that would be the Soviet-Finnish War, the Continuation War, and then probably the West Russian War that we heard about. What said policies are centered on one thing: growth, mending of relations with the German Reich, and the cultivation of the historic Finno-German partnership is the most urgent thing on Verwaayen's mind. It is not only Germania's diplomats that are pleased, however, but the Finnish colonists in Karelia also have not been ignored by the new government. With promises of closer integration and increased investment into the territories taken from the Soviet Union during the Second World War, it is clear that Finland intends for its expanded nation to stay in its perpetual war. Well, good on them. Let's speed it up, getting some more political power. Okay. So we finished opening the market. The Greater Germanic Reich is currently under embargo by our opponents in the OFN and the co-prosperity sphere, though it's not as if we are entirely innocent, as we ourselves are currently embargoing several potential profitable trade partners. Thus we have unintentionally limited Germany's capacity to engage in international trade, thereby causing us unneeded economic strain. To have a successful economy, we must lift our as of yet ironclad trade embargoes upon our opponents and encourage free trade across the Greater Germanic Reich. So production efficiency is increased, we increase trade walls, policy effectiveness, and now we can go with scale back military production. And too little too late. Okay. USFIP takes Manila. So what's going on here? Mobilize the white minority. Plant the seeds of independence. Well, it really doesn't have a big chance of success, does it? Cover our tracks. Well, 9.3% passing. Is it because I influence them, or I don't know, maybe I wasn't supposed to go like this, or maybe they're just trying really hard. So USFIP takes Manila. Really? Oh yeah, okay. So what's it called? USFIP, United States Force something? General Wendell Fertig of the USFIP has issued a cessation of hostilities in Manila today after weeks of heavy fighting, declaring the city liberated from the forces of Japan and the illegitimate Yuan regime. His guerrilla army has defied expectations by ousting the SPR from their national capital in a successful, if protracted and bloody campaign. Although no less damaged than large swaths of Luzon's largest city, Malacanan Palace now flies Old Glory and the Old Commonwealth banner side to side, a first in over 20 years. Interim President Yuo and his cabinet has evacuated Tokyo prior to the siege. No formal surrender seems forthcoming despite their setback. Across the Pacific, Americans and Filipino expatriates alike rejoice as the long occupation surprising end. Nevertheless, homecoming celebrations are tempered by the likelihood of a reprisal invasion not unlike that which had toppled the Philippines' last civilian government in 1942. Well, let's see what they're gonna do. Yeah, I feel like I screwed up with this one, we should have been more careful. Ikeda elected Prime Minister of Japan. Following a power struggle in the wake of Ino Hiroriya's resignation from the Japanese Prime Minister, Ikeda Masanosuke has risen to the top of Diet's candidates. A staunch conservative, Ikeda has presided himself as a compromise in the Diet within his own faction, uniting the pre-war conservatives from the Riken Sayukai as well as defectors from Admiral Takagi's liberals. Ikeda himself has been open with his vision, namely cleansing the corruption and administrative inefficiency that plagued the Ino era, as well as starting the gradual reform of the Japanese state. While many has criticized him for doing too little too late, others have also praised him for his moderation. Oh, cool. Okay, how's the construction going? Okay, we're nowhere near close in building these forts, so let's move you to later time and have you actually built sooner, because I'd like to utilize these forts if we'll need them, that is. Okay, the capital flight might help us, who knows? I certainly don't. And GDP, well, the decrease is not going too fast. Gods of the North. Reports have slowly begun filtering down from movements in the distant communes of Siberia. What it is really, we cannot say, but the fact that any form of news is leaving that region alone has set many to wondering what exactly could be happening. Surely, if the communes are making any kind of stir for the first time in 20 years, it must be in some form important. Reports speak of stirrings from the religious. Those few traders who make their way that far north over the East Siberian trade routes have spoken of entire communes chanting in prayer, of churches being filled to the brim, and of some figure pushing them onward. Nobody knows exactly what has spurred this action, but the people of Siberia keep playing for one man. They call him the Father. Oh god, I hope it's not Stalin coming back. Look for opportunities. Here we are again. Military budget review. After the Second World War, the German military bore no rival. Our military spending was second to none, as was our might. We proved the world our strength by accomplishing what many considered impossible. We retained tight control over our conquests and then expanded our empire even more by occupying the entire middle section of the Dark Continent. Since then, we've spent the better part of 2 decades crushing army after army of partisans, as well as Russian invasion. The economic collapse of the 50s made the burden of maintaining the hear's budget a titanic struggle. Although many begged for funds to be funneled elsewhere, Hitler stood by the Wehrmacht and would not hear of it. Therefore, for the last 2 decades, Germany has somehow miraculously maintained its military budget, for better or worse, without another major economic crisis. Militarists in both the Wehrmacht and the administration continue to lobby to maintain current spending to this day. On the other side of the aisle, a coalition of reformers, civilian interests, industrialists, and even limited numbers of conservatives from the NSDAP beg us to cut the Wehrmacht's budget for much-needed allocation of funds elsewhere. Being in a position of power ourselves, combined with Hitler's ailing health, allows us now to make a change in policy, if we so choose. We will invest in economy instead. Speer's legitimacy will increase by 5, slightly decrease minimum investment in army and maximum in army, and GDP growth will increase by 0.5. This one is for Göring and Bormann, and Follow to the SS. We will invest in economy instead. So that will make our growth even faster. Yeah, 7.69, 2.3 real GDP growth. The Siberian Black Army has conquered the provisional government of Krasnoyarsk in the struggle of the fate of Russia. Is this the divine mandate of Siberia? Siberian Black Army. Nope, that's not them. Siberian Black Army is here. Okay, what kind of 7? Get 5. Well, okay. I'm fine with it, I guess. Yeah, the Imperial Servant has 3.8 chance of passing. Yeah, I think we're gonna encourage a more capital flight and be happy with that result. Oh, and we can lower the army expenditure, further increasing our yearly surplus. Naval nuclear. Yeah, we're getting 1.26% of the GDP now. Wow, nearly 3 billion per year. And the GDP is still increasing. This is really good. Okay, come on. Mobilize the white minority, encourage the capital fight, and cover our tracks. So we can do it again. Can we encourage the capital fight again? Because that's the one I'm interested in the most. Solano Vima wins the Argentine election. Defying a broad popular front set against him, conservative Peronist coalition Vicento Solano Vima had to fight tooth and nail to claim the presidency that he now holds. With the Frente Nacional consisting of popular conservatives, Peronist, Bengoistas and Nacionalistas, President Solano Vima now faces the challenge of maintaining such a wide array of factions now that they have managed to win. Already there are whispers that Solano Vima is looking to bring Peron back to Argentina, unfounded as they are in anything except a history of the pro-Peronism throughout his tenures in the PDN and PCP. Whether or not there's any truth to these allegations, his victory and hold over the presidency is already secured by both election and the support of the military, and only time will tell if it's true. Yeah, okay, so this is effects when selected, so we can do it one more time. And to cover our tracks, actually lower the effect, but it's fine. And it gave us more. Yeah, our influence is large. Are we getting additional? Yeah, okay, so I think we can do more here regiments to our side. We are way above everyone else. That's amazing. I like it. And this is actually further boosting our GDP. Yeah, debt to GDP 103.8%. Let's end July, and I'm gonna end the episode there. We're gonna see what the effect on this month is gonna be. The Verona Conference ends. Today, Verona Conference, the assembly gathered together to determine the future direction of Italian Empire, has come to an end. As Duce Ciano made his closing speech to the Congress, it seems after so much heated debating and furious arguing, majority of the Congress comes to an agreement with Ciano, approving his mandate. Roaring masses of people are celebrating in the streets from Verona itself to Sicily. Church bells are ringing. Choirs are singing as the long-anticipated reforms are in the way now, all thanks to Duce Ciano. Not everybody is happy with the result, of course. Carlo Scorza, the political rival of Ciano, left the Congress room in frustration during the closing speech. Reports are coming all around Italy about Black Brigade violence and street fights with celebrating people. Yet the path is now clear for Italy and her people. They only need to follow it. No, he's their unknown focus. Yep. They now have a new one. Ciano holds on. Okay, and what's the effect? 103.6% in GDP, and we have lowered the national debt sub 241 billion. Amazing. So not only the real GDP growth is going, but the national debt is dropping. We are doing great. I'm really happy. We're gonna have 4 extra regiments of the Wehrmacht on our side. We are probably building the forts already, aren't we? Yeah, we finished actually many of them already. It looks like it. Yeah, we finished many. So let's hope this is going well. I don't know if I'm doing that right or not. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. And I'll see you in the next episode where we are going to scale back military production. Because that's the thing that we will need to do. Well, we will need to do that to survive. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.